games, for example, like Dungeons and Dragons. Photos or things that maybe you saved from your previous relationships or things that you found online.
He means porn and nudes. I literally heard the Holy Spirit to throw away a game that I thought was harmless. Snakes and Ladders. Hello lovely people, my name is Emma. Welcome back to my channel, welcome if you are new. The reason I rushed through that intro, which I have now recognised and I will slow down and take it a bit calmer, it's so hot, dude. And everyone who's gonna be like, it doesn't even get that hot in England, shut up, we don't have aircon. We're not used to it, it's way too hot. My office gets so hot, and when I'm recording and I have to shut the door and everything, it's like the temperature goes up so fast, I'm dying. There's no time to muck around today. There's no time for nonsense, alright, or silliness. This will be the first video devoid of any kind of nonsense on my channel. Obviously that's not true. Let's crack on with what I wanted to talk to you about today, which is the demonic things that you must remove from your home today. For some reason I bookmarked this. I obviously thought it was important. This is a chap called Vlad Savchuk, apologies if I'm pronouncing that wrong, who I noticed just from the recommendations in the sidebar now, has also made videos such as 10 signs you have a demon, and a more recent, you probably have one of these in your house, which sounds like this video again, but with different objects. So, clickbaity Christian channel. I haven't watched the video yet, I'm gonna blind react to it with you guys, that's normal, but I did read the description and I found a list of ways to support the ministry. You can Venmo them, you can Cash App them, you can PayPal them. Thank God they make it so easy to donate. Everyone and his mum, like everyone who has a preachy Christian YouTube channel has their own ministry that you can donate to. Isn't that so nice? Granted, I have no leg to stand on here because I'm not even a ministry, and I have donation links. Join my Patreon. But fine, and I noticed this: want to give your life to Christ, have a testimony to share, need deliverance, want to join our online church. So I had a look at their website just out of interest. So this is the Hungry Gen Church Center website. This is the Hungry Generation Church. Hungry Generation Ministries, which is not for the maybe one of you out there that is like, you mean the literary movement from India in the 60s? No, this is different. This is a church. Our mission is to love God, love people, and change the world. Our mission, recruit, restore, raise, release. Which kind of sounds like, you know when people do that thing where they go fishing and then they like catch and release fishing when they just like, they let you flop back out into the ocean, but now you have an injury. Our goal is that every believer becomes a disciple maker. Our path, welcome night. Life class and encounter, destiny training, start a life group. And I thought that was so funny. It's like a church pyramid scheme. And you go away and you start your own life group so you can train up people to start their own life groups. But to be fair, there's no money involved. It is just about their beliefs. So it's fine. It seems very nice actually. People start their own local meetup groups. I saw some of them do like teenager specific meetups and find something in your local area and do them online and whatever. It's fine. It's nice. It looks like from their main website, so that was the hungrygen.churchcenter.com. From the hungrygen.com main website, it looks like one of those youth-specific, like the, what's it called, life churches? I can't remember. The Australian one. You know what I mean. People with guitars, people with loads of microphones and epic lighting, everyone getting up on their feet to praise God. It's like that kind of church, right? And then I did just want to share this because I thought it was so fascinating. They've got these mock-ups of their new home. So they're obviously building themselves a new church, and it is the most like futurist, fancy ass looking, look at that coffee bar. Like, the kids are going to want to hang out at church in this place, because look at it. It looks like a conference center. I mean, it basically is a conference center. It's just the conferences are about all of the stuff in your home that's demonic, I guess. And then they have the Hungry Gen School, where you can sign up for life class. So here's a little bit of illumination on what that actually is. Hungry Gen School offers courses that are available to all believers, both locally, who want to attend in person, as well as our extended online family. Life class, for the believer that wants to learn fundamental Christian principles and learn how to live one's life to glorify Jesus. That's aimed at the new Christian, the Christian that has never really thought about their faith before, that doesn't really know where to start. And then, for the advanced Christian, you have destiny training. For the aspiring leader who wants to dive deeper and become a disciple maker and blah, blah, blah. Do you have a desire to be further equipped to be part of God's end time army? So there's a little hint about their beliefs. The end is nigh. Get training. It's a 7-week crash course. Destiny training is a 10-week program, but you have to complete your life class first. So you have to do that course to access this excess course. Do not sign up if you haven't already graduated life class. You get a PDF book by Pastor Vlad himself, who is the lead pastor of this church. Life class live stream. From Trying to Transformation. Week 1 Bible memory verse. 1 Corinthians. Oh, well, that's rare. This church is using the New Living Translation. That's quite modern. No King James over here. This is a very, accessible, youth-oriented church, so that makes sense to me. Week 2 Bible memory verse. John. Oh, but this one's specifically from the New King James Version. So they don't have a specific Bible. So yeah, they have all these conferences, and look how dramatic this Holy Spirit conference graphic is. There's Vlad. Water baptism. This kind of church almost, because I know maybe it's part of being in the UK where we are aggressively traditionalist in our Church of England, right? It's when I say we, I mean bishops and deacons. It's very hard to modernize anything to do with the Church of England. We love our little old buildings that are falling apart, and we desperately need your donations every week to just keep them propped up and keep the lights on. This would be, to those kind of Christians, this would be the sort of kind of eeky, modern, almost fringing on kind of New Age Christianity. This is the New Age Christianity, comparative to what I'm familiar with. So I thought that was really interesting. I do find it so funny, and there's a little facetious, snarky part of me. Every time I see someone like Pastor Vlad saying this, that, and everything else is demonic, I want to lean into that. The more people complain that I dress too demonic, the more people complain that I have too much demonic symbolism in my life, the more I want to lean into it. That's why I've got, you can't see it, but that's why I've got a Ouija board and my Satanic Temple certificate right here by my desk. So counter-offer, instead of going on one of the Hungry Gen Church's £75 courses, how about a free game that embraces, say, the undead, friggin' lizard men, orcs, dwarves, demons, PvE and PvP content. You can play it on your PC, like I do. You can play it in the bath, like I do. Sounds pretty sick, sounds pretty cool, sounds pretty nice. It's Raid Shadow Legends. I know you're tired of hearing me talk about Raid, but it keeps updating, okay? So I have to update you. It's only fair. I don't know why I'm getting angry. I think it's the heat. 2 favorite things about Raid. 1, I can play it on my PC. Okay, 3 favorite things. 3 favorite things real quick. 1, I can play it on my PC, so I can have my little guys doing my arena battles for me while I'm editing. I'm working, they're working. I don't have any colleagues, okay? I am the sole employee of myself. It's good to have a bit of company. 2, you don't have to spend any money. I've never spent a penny on it. Number 3, demonic imagery. 2 of the factions are Demon Spawn and the Undead Horde. I like the Undead Horde as much as I'm a demon fan, okay? But I love my Undead Horde. Look at Hexia. One actual babe. Good news if you're new to Raid Shadow Legends. If you've not played before, you download via my link or my QR code. You will immediately get a very tasty starter pack, including an epic Undead Horde champion. This is Anax. Let me share a little bit of his backstory because it's actually really fucking cool, okay? Aladdin, in his short-lived life, was betrayed by his lover Yasmin, who was secretly plotting with the genie to end his life. But of course a genie cannot end his master's life, so the genie granted Aladdin one last wish to become immortal. Aladdin didn't realise that meant in the realms of the undead. Swift change of identity later, and we have Anax, the gutter rat. He's a great lad to have on your side for clan boss battles. Speaking of which, join my clan, Little Duck Gang. Sign up via my link, get yourself a huge starter pack including Anax, very cool epic champion, Once you reach level 15, you will get another starter pack, including Epic Fane. Fane's a little ratty skinwalker. Kind of love her. A lot of people consider her a better champion than a lot of the legendary champions. Grab yourself these 2 epic champions for free by downloading via my custom link down below or my QR code. If you use a different link, you won't get the downloads that Raid's team have given me. Do check it out, snag yourself those lovely bonuses, come join my clan. Thank you so much for watching and checking out those links. It really helps out me and this channel, and thank you to Raid for continuing to support my silly little antics. I also enjoyed the hashtags. I wanted to share with you the hashtags of this video. Hashtag accursed objects, hashtag Jesus Christ, hashtag spiritual, hashtag Holy Spirit, hashtag Bible, hashtag deliverance, hashtag prayer. I've also just noticed an Amazon store link. Okay, he's got Ukrainian relief items. Is this just his recommendations, or does he get... Yes, so the ministry gets a small commission if you buy items listed in his store, including stuff for streaming, Bible study tools, single ready to mingle book. Hold on.
This is Pastor Vlad, and I am so excited to announce to you the release of my new project, Single Ready to Mingle. It's a book written about relating, dating, and mating. I was a youth pastor for about 14 years.
Oh, can I just throw out there, I hate how common it's become, the use of the term mating to describe human relationships. I find it very off-putting.
And while I was a youth pastor, I was also a single person. So I know that the challenges the single people live in today.
Bless Pastor Vlad. I know this from the About page of the Hungry Gen Church website. He was a youth pastor for 14 years before he finally became a pastor. Now he's the lead pastor, so congrats to him, but I do think it's funny sometimes how long people get stuck in the youth pastor zone. Not necessarily that it's stuck, some people might love it and choose to do it forever, but I do think that's funny. But also, you don't have unique experience in everyone is single at some point, especially particularly when they're younger. It's not like a unique perspective you have of having been single. I too was once single, like you. Bro, everyone was single.
And so I know this book will be a blessing to your life. It's available on Amazon, it's available...
He knows it will be a blessing to your life. He's got his own website, pastorvlad.org. Holy Spirit Conference. So that's the same conference that was advertised on Hungry Gen. Oh look, he's got a new book. Build Fire. I hate the donation pop-up that's like, well, Sandra donated $30. I mean, I noticed you've been on here for a minute and nothing's happening. The donation button at the bottom of the screen... The donation button at the bottom of the screen is also flashing. Are Jehovah's Witnesses a cult? Ooh, I just want to read this quickly. I'm interested in the opinion. Are they part of Christianity or are they a cult? They hang out at my local train station, so I'd love to know. 10 beliefs that make Jehovah's Witnesses not Christians. Ooh, Vlad's spicy! If you're a Jehovah's Witness, I love you and pray for you. I encourage you to read the scriptures with an open heart and you will find truth in Jesus. Repent of your sin. Other Christians? Well, they're not actually Christians. Like, I read the good book, and I personally understood it in a way that all of those other Christians failed to do.
8 things.
It's just a very jovial intro for 8 demonic things. It's like a vlog intro template. 8 things that are demonic in your home. Almost makes it sound like they're a good thing. Now tell me what they are so I can buy them.
You need to remove from your house today. We will talk about demonic objects or cursed objects that we need to get rid of from our houses to experience breakthrough in our life.
Like and subscribe! Not sure what made me think of that.
Now, concerning the demonic objects and cursed objects, I have another video that you need to watch first before you watch this one. The video is below in the link in the description. Now, concerning the things that you need to remove out of your house. First of all, I want...
Okay, that video is cursed objects and haunted houses. Does your dude believe in ghosts? I guess spirits is kind of... Is that kind of Christian? I don't really know.
I want you to ask the Holy Spirit to reveal what needs to be removed.
Holy Spirit, please can you tell me what I need to get rid of from my home? On to step 2, I guess.
Sometimes there are things, for example, you go through your house and you notice that it's just obvious it doesn't belong for a Christian to have these things in their house. They shouldn't be there. Number 3 is check the closets, office, basement, backyard, storage, and even your car to see if there are things there that just you're in doubt. And my rule is when you're in doubt, throw it out, meaning you're just not sure if, hey, is this
He's going for that minimalist lifestyle. If you're in doubt, throw it out.
supposed to be in my life or not? Number 4 is scan your digital space for images, photos, or things that maybe you saved from your previous relationships or things that you found online that do not glorify Jesus Christ.
He means porn and nudes. That was the implication there, right? That's not just me making a leap.
Number 5 is look for demonic symbols in pottery, jewelry, clothes, and other
Pottery.
objects. Now, when it comes to those
Demonic pottery? What's demonic pottery? And where can I get some? Is it just anything you can order off of Nemesis Now? My Nemesis Now Baphomet has a tiny baby Jesus. So that balances out, right? I dropped the baby Jesus.
those 8 things, here they are. Number 1 is the symbols, pottery, jewelry that are by Native Americans that serve as spirit guides.
Native American spirit guide symbols, pottery, and jewelry. What if you're Native American? Or like, you just like history? Actually, downstairs in my game room is a card game. I'm gonna be a terrible person, I can't remember what the language is, but it's designed to help you learn a Native American language. So, I'm already succeeding at my Let's let him explain. Maybe it'll be perfectly reasonable and not like just a weird sort of Christian colonial anti-Native American thing. I'm sure it'd be fine. Let's find out.
For example, a lot of the Native American paganism has things that are demonic in nature, and these objects are used by their religion and by the spirits as a point of contact between this realm and the other realm. For example, one example is dream catchers. You know, they're supposed to catch bad dreams and protect you during the sleep. But a lot of times they're actually an open door to the demonic spirits and attacks in your life and on your car if you have one in your car.
In your life and on your car. No, not my car. Yeah, I had a dream catcher when I was a kid. They were a very popular, like, trinket when I was a kid. Very, like, not tokenized, what's the word? I don't know, but a very popular, like, just sort of naff thing you would get in gift shops here. I don't know why Dreamcatchers caught on in that weird way, but yeah, I had a Dreamcatcher, loads of my friends did. Never opened a doorway to any demons as far as I'm aware. On what authority is he? I mean, I have this question for every pastor, preacher who has a channel like this. This thing actually opens gateways to demons. On whose authority are we getting that information? It's not in the Bible. Bible doesn't say, don't have a dream catcher. He says, I'm very jealous, don't worship gods other than me. Having a dream catcher isn't worshipping another god. It's all just extrapolation, demonizing, if you'll pardon the pun, other spiritualities, other religions. Does he genuinely think that all Native Americans are plagued by demons? Because that's fucking rude and obviously untrue. But if these things are all gateways to the terrible demonic spirit realm, then he must think that. Or what, are Native Americans immune because it's their religion and it's just if any Christians have Native American... Like, it's so stupid. Any time you think about any of this shit for more than 5 seconds, you're like, obviously that's bullshit. It doesn't bear up to logic, this idea that everything and everything else is a fucking portal to the demon realm. It's so stupid. It pisses me off. What does this do except poison Christians against Native Americans? And even Native American symbolism. Same with all the pagan shit. I had a dream catcher. I have always collected hagstones, stones with holes directly through the middle, which is also meant to protect you from, well, hags, amongst other things. It's also meant to be protection charms and stuff like that. I have never had any fucking demons pop up in the night like, sorry, I noticed you had a stone, and here I am. You should have watched Pastor Vlad on YouTube. Like, of course that's not real.
Car. And the idea that, oh, but they just look good and they're just a bunch of jewelry, you know, that's how you think about that. But those things have demons attached to them and they're dedicated to the devil. The second thing they need...
Says who? They have demons attached to them and they're dedicated to the devil. I've decided this morning when I was trying to think up 8 things because that sounded like a good list length. How often have I sat here and said, I wish the Ouija board that I have would summon some demons? That would be fucking cool. I appreciate their freedom to exist, and I appreciate his freedom to make these videos and for people to believe him, but it sucks. I'm exercising my freedom to tell you that it sucks and I hate it. Alright, step 1. Ostracize all Native Americans and or anyone who has anything to do with Native Americans in their house. What's step 2, Vlad?
You need to keep in mind are the symbols, books, and objects representing the New Age. One of the examples is tarot cards. You know, and some people are like, oh, there's no...
I'm 2 for 2 so far. Because Vlad isn't going to explain it, I'll just point out the New Age is basically the range of sort of spiritual practices that came out of the 70s. There was a sort of hearkening back to more kind of pagan worship and, you know, hippy-dippy stuff. It's funny to me because I called his church the sort of New Age version of Christianity. So kind of great that he's now going off on an anti-New Age spin. Because a lot of Christians, especially in this country, would view what he's doing as very New Age.
No big deal about tarot cards. Like, those things are demonic. And these things are connecting you to a demonic kingdom. And you need to get rid of things that are representing and projectifying the New Age.
Projectifying! I couldn't get through it. I thought I was going to make it. I couldn't do it. Projectifying the New Age. English isn't his first language. We're not going to bully him over that. What a fantastic made-up word. Projectifying. He's not going to take any time to explain what that means, what he actually meant to say there, because we've moved on to the next topic already. He's not going to take any time to explain how he knows that tarot cards and then anything New Age, which, again, he's told us tarot cards, if you're, like, a Christian viewer of his and you don't know much about, because who knows that much about New Age stuff unless you're actually into it, all he's said to you is tarot, you'd be like, what? Probably he'd tell you to watch more of his videos to get in-depth explanations. I don't know.
The third thing that you need to remove is the symbols or books or objects representing witchcraft.
I feel like witchcraft and New Age, a Wiccan's going to be angry at me in the comments if I say this, because I feel like New Age and witchcraft kind of go together in the same sort of category. Wicca is kind of like a New Age belief, right? Is that totally wrong and offensive? In all the tarot shops and the crystal shops, they have all of those things together, along with little statues of Buddha. So I guess in my mind I group them together as sort of New Age, but maybe that is actually only based on shops. So maybe that's not cool. Wiccan in the audience? Let me know down below.
Now, examples are Ouija boards, you know, voodoo dolls, and spell books.
Are Ouija boards witchcraft adjacent? Ouija boards created as a parlor game, not created by some kind of witch clan or a pagan group or something. It was made as a parlor game, as a bit of fun, silly entertainment, and it's been sold as a board game by the major board game companies since then. I've had this in my life for a considerable amount of time. I've been on an adventure to a haunted house where I used a Ouija board in a group.
Is there anybody else here with you?
Rather, all of these seem to just be titles. Conservatory was never built.
Fuck all happened, because it's not real.
So if you have those things in your possession, somewhere in your house, you need to get rid of that and get rid of that today.
Why? Because demons. That's not good enough. Why? I need a better explanation. Because my house has been fine. I've had 0 demon-related incidents. So I'm gonna need you to explain why this is a problem.
The fourth thing you need to remove is good luck charms. Example of that are crystals, rabbit's foot, or any kind of good luck.
That should go in with the New Age section. That doesn't count. I thought he was gonna say, like, when sports people have lucky socks and things like that. Crystals and stuff should go in with the witchcraft New Age bits. He's just padding to try and get 8 because he's read that that's a good number to put in a list in a YouTube title. I'm telling you.
Luck jewelry that people get, especially on Indian reservations, or maybe you would go...
Especially Native Americans. Oh, really? How interesting.
...to another country and you receive that as a souvenir to bring you good luck. Those things should...
If you go to a gift shop in another country and they say, oh, this will bring you luck, You can't have that. It will steal your soul.
Should not have place in your house or your dwelling, because a lot of times they have demons connected to them. Number 5.
That's the most explanation we're going to get from him on anything, because these have demons connected to them. Says who? Why? How did that happen? Can you give some examples? Some real life examples? Were you cleaning through your house and you found something and it had a little demon like hanging off it? Like, what are you talking about?
Is symbols, images, statues of other religions.
You know, it's becoming a pet peeve of mine when someone formulates lists badly. Why is this so frequent? When we view these like evangelical channels and they make lists where I'm like, no, this thing belongs in that earlier list. These two lists could combine. Why are they so bad at making lists? Symbols from other religions. But he had Native American symbols as their own category, which again just makes it seem like Native American symbolism is so bad it deserves its own category. Granted, the same for witchcraft and New Age spirituality, but like, for fuck's sake.
For example, Satanic Bible, statues of saints, or...
Ooh, that was a bit of... I was about to go and grab my Baphomet statue again, but I just got distracted because a bit of anti-Catholicism in there, which, from my religious bias, as in the country and the schools that I grew up in, and the fact that I was basically brought up with the Church of England as my sort of church, I share that bias of Catholicism being vaguely anti-Christian, and I do still think, again, I don't know if this is just that bias, but I do think, yeah, it's crazy how they worship idols and how they pray to Mary and stuff like that. I still think that. I don't know if Catholicism really is any worse for not taking the Bible as gospel compared with like any other form, compared with this bizarre form of Christianity that Vlad has adopted. It might just be my bias. But it was interesting that that slipped in there. Hold on. I just think it's fun to tick off all the things on the list that I have. So, I have obviously a copy of the Satanic Bible by Anton LaVey. Disclaimer, I own this the same way I own all sorts of religious books. I think LaVey was a deeply troubled weirdo. Deeply troubled. Don't agree with the contents of this book, especially the things that border on just wizardry. But I own it, and that means it's got demons attached. I also have a big fuck off Quran, which is obviously a religious text from another religion, and it's big fuck off because it's annotated in modern English. Fuck, that's a heavy one. Isn't it pretty, though? Isn't that a pretty just book, aesthetically? For fun, I have a tiny The Buddha. I believe it's technically called Coffee with the Buddha, which is a little story of the Buddha's life. Oh, I've actually got, here you go, The Devil's Tome and The Devil's Deck. I got these because they're fucking pretty. I think I shared these on my other channel once. It's a little, like, enlightenment deck that you can use for worship or self-improvement or whatever. You can tell that I have, like, lovingly bought it and saved it and never actually used it because I just think it's aesthetically pretty. Look at that. You are the magic. That's the kind of shit I believe in. You're the magic, baby. And you're the magic. And you're the magic. But what a good collection of demonic literature.
Or pentagram, or skulls, or death.
I'm not going to pick up everything that has like a skull or a pentagram or whatever from around my house because we'd be here forever. Let's just say I have a lot of things in my house that satisfy this category. And once again, I have still yet to see a single demon, and I'm incredibly disappointed because Vlad makes it sound really easy to get something connected to a demon. A fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy. I just want to point out, we all have skulls. Skulls aren't specific to a certain religion. We all have them. Everyone is carrying a skeleton inside them, right now. Some people have more than one skeleton inside them.
Those religions, including like skull or death or a skeleton or a snake or a dragon, though they may not.
Snakes are also just like a normal real thing. I know you don't like snakes because of that one bit in Genesis, but snakes are just like actual creatures. A bit like skeletons, a bit like how skeletons are a real thing and we have them in like schools and doctors' offices. Not real skeletons, obviously. Although there are real skeletons in those because, as I say, we all have a skeleton inside of us. Like the pentagrams and whatever. If you don't like a little Baphomet, then whatever, fine. But, you know, we can't help but have skulls. You'll see skulls and skeletons on, like, medical journals, you know, and, like, science books in school. So it feels a bit silly, that one.
Not serve as a particular emblem of a particular religion, but they do connect to death, they do connect to darkness, and they do connect to things that as Christians, we should have no part in it.
I'm sorry to say, but death is a part of life whether you're a Christian or not. I would say death is maybe a bigger, more important part of life, especially because the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ is like the cornerstone of your faith. Oh, we shouldn't think about death and darkness. How much death and darkness is in the Bible? Like, good God. It's just, hypocritical, isn't it?
Number 6 is demonic games. These are games, for example, like Dungeons and Dragons. Games that are, in their nature, are spiritual and they...
Alright, fine, I'm going. Okay, this is very retro now, but it's one of my more treasured possessions. Here's my 2nd edition Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Dungeon Master Guide. Isn't that pretty? I wish we'd get some further explanation as to how a role-playing game is How many evangelists have we seen on this channel that think role-playing games are demonic? Like, they need to be sent into the past. Get back to the 70s, my friend. We've moved on as a species. Like, we've evolved to understand the difference between fiction and reality.
It can be an open door to demonic kingdom for you to be exposed to the demonic attacks. Number 7.
That's it. It can be demonic, this thing in my list. So, get rid of it. No explanation. No explanation as to how a tabletop role-playing game can open a gateway to demons. He just takes it for granted that you'll believe him. Oh, good, movies and music.
7 are movies and music. Videos that show extreme violence, horror, satanic rituals, and porn, as well as music that glorify Satanism, immorality, graphic, explicit. Those things, they are behind the scenes, have those demonic spirits behind it because the...
Do they? Oh, he said because. I cut him off at the wrong time. He actually said because this time.
Devil is spreading his garbage through the movies and through the music. Now people say,
It's not the devil that owns all the music labels, though. It's not the devil that owns all of the production companies and distribution companies making movies. Is he kind of insinuating that the devil is controlling every single, like, filmmaker who's included violence in their movies, which is a substantial number?
I just like the beat. See, that's the bait that the enemy uses. Oh, but my favorite actor is in that movie. Or like, oh, I just ignore the part that, there's so much spells and witchcraft in that movie. I just watch to the good part. I apply, find a biblical lesson in that and stuff. And so we shouldn't use those excuses. And there are things that have the appearance of sin and darkness, and we should walk away from that because it has...
So is The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe out because it contains magic? Because that is the most aggressive Christian allegory probably in fiction. One of the most. And most evangelists love C.S. Lewis. They fucking idolize C.S. Lewis, much to my dismay, because whatever, maybe we'll do a big video about C.S. Lewis and why I think he's massively fucking overrated, and I'm sick of seeing him paraded around as some great mind of Christian theology. That book and movie, and for some reason books was discussed earlier, movies and music get their own category. For some reason that is usually fine, even though that contains witchcraft and stuff. So I wonder if Vlad would think that that's okay or not. Because when you say all of these things are bad, there's inevitable hypocrisy, because in the modern world you can't I mean, you can be like Amish, but there are Christian-made Christian movies that contain violence, because there's a hell of a lot of violence in the Bible. But that's fine. It's violence in other things is bad because because hypocrisy.
Has a potential of opening our life and exposing our life to the demons. Number 8, thing that you need to get rid of are the gifts, items, objects, and letters from your ex or person that you've been in a relationship with, that maybe that relationship ended, whether it was because of sin or it was not the right relationship in the first place to be in. And though these things might not be demonic in nature, but a lot of times they do have a hold on your soul.
Two things. First thing, this video is called 8 Demonic Things You Have to Remove Today, which means I can technically call this clickbait because number 8 is not a demonic thing, and he's just admitted that, so the title is untrue. Ow, my neck. Somebody's gonna clip that and be like, possessed by demons, Emma Thorne. Second thing, what the fuck are you talking about? Even if your past relationship didn't end in sin, even if it just wasn't right, but maybe you've got happy memories, get rid of everything to do with that relationship because it has a hold on your soul. That's one of the most insane things I've ever heard and seems like a complete non sequitur. With the rest of this, with the other 7 items, it's like, these things are not Christian, these things have a specific connection to the demons, to the demon realm. These things will cause you problems because of demons. And then at the end, he's like, old letters from past lovers. What?
Your future. So again, those 8 things are pretty much items from the Native Americans that connect as a spirit guide.
To remind you that specifically Native Americans are bad.
Also symbols representing New Age or things connected to the New Age. Things connected to witchcraft, number 3. Good luck charms, number 4. Number 5 are things that are symbols and signs or emblems of other religions. Number 6 are demonic games. Number 7 is movies and music that have horror, satanic rituals, and porn. And number 8 are things that connect you to your past relationships that were harmful.
Usually. Just because he said that, I want to throw this out there. Usually, if there are satanic rituals, combined with some kind of violence or whatever, or something like that in a horror movie, those are the bad guys. How many horror movies use Christian imagery? Christian imagery? It's really hot. How many horror movies use Christian imagery? The Exorcist. The Nun. Okay, I haven't seen The Nun, so I'm not sure. Even like the Evil Dead series. That's a Sam Raimi comedy series, but even so, the bad evil thing is the Book of the Dead, is the demonic stuff. Like, surely that's fine, because it's got the same view as the Christians. You've got God and the Christians, and that's all good, and then you've got the devil and demons and all the bad stuff, and it's usually the good guys, often who are Christians, often who are, priests and stuff in those movies, fighting the evil of the demons. Why is that bad to watch? Like, even just seeing... it's like back to the Paul and Morgan thing, where it's like, even if you see a hint of witchcraft on your TV, you're going to die. But worse than death, because it's about your immortal soul. Oh no.
Painful or maybe have ended, and you need to just move on. You may say, so what do I do with those things? After I've asked the Holy Spirit, after I've started with the obvious, after I checked the closets, office, basement, backyard storage, and my car, I scanned my digital space, I looked for those objects, those...
Yeah, I've done all that, mate. You explained all that. I've done all that. What do I do now?
Pieces of clothes, what do I do now with that? Now, the physical things, you burn with fire. Things like on digital space, and of course you delete it and empty the trash.
What you do is you have a big old book burning, because remember, books are included in this. And any other religious texts, anything with skulls on it, especially anything Native American, you burn it all up in a big fire. Because I'm a parody of my beliefs. Usually, I'm not this sort of person. I have all the respect in the world for people's right to believe whatever they want to believe. And all of the Christians that I know and am friends with in my life are lovely, beautiful people. This kind of person, this kind of evangelist, makes me want to burn a Bible. Just to say, you think it's fine, you're encouraging people to burn other religious texts, have a taste of your own fucking medicine. And that would be a shock, a travesty, the most insulting thing. That would be like the last, the Olympics video, right? Where it's, I can't believe they were so disrespectful to Christianity. But it's fine. It's fine for them to go off in a video about how evil Native American imagery is and how you should burn other religious texts and books and music. The hypocrisy! It's disgusting! I'm not gonna burn a Bible because I think burning books in general is bad.
Trash can. And so, but you can burn it with fire. Sometimes you can't burn it with fire. You can just throw it away. And just honestly, when you do that, just renounce those things. And renounce the spirits connected behind those things, and then just anoint your house with oil, anoint the space that these things occupied with oil, and just rededicate that space to the Lord.
I just have this image in my mind of like somebody going around their house like gently spreading olive oil over the sofa. If I saw somebody in my street like go out to the rubbish and they're like throwing things in and then going, "I denounce you, spirit attached to my Nirvana CD," I'd be like, this person's fucking insane. Like, and then they're going around spreading oil around their house or whatever. You'd be like, it's 2024. What the fuck are you doing?
Not only our bodies, but also our soul. Not only our soul, but also everything that we come in contact with has to belong to Jesus Christ. It doesn't mean it has to have a...
But it's mine. If Jesus wants to share my record collection, he can come and fucking ask, okay?
Fish on it or the crucifix, but it does have to belong to Jesus Christ. And we can do that by removing the bad and replacing it with good. I hope that this brought some clarity and understanding into this topic on 8 things you should remove from your house.
Clarity. He didn't explain a single thing. He didn't explain a damn thing. He just said, symbolism bad because demons are attached to it. There's no why, there's no how. At least usually the evangelists will sprinkle in some Bible quotes. He's not even done that. It's just like, trust me, bro. Everything you own is demonic. Skulls are demonic. I don't care if you're a student doctor. If you've got a plastic skeleton in your house, you better fucking get rid of it or your soul is in trouble. Hope this provided some clarity. Hilarity, maybe. Okay, so this is just his outro. I am gonna share, because he said that, I am gonna share some comments, because I saw a couple that made me laugh. The good news is I saw comments disagreeing with him, which means that they have open comments on this channel, which is a really good thing. They're not filtering out comments that say like, what are you talking about? I disagree with you. I'm a Christian and I disagree with you. I got rid of my ex-wife and mother-in-law. My house seems much more calm and I feel at peace. Even the dog's anxiety has gone away. Oh, this one made me laugh. I live in Zimbabwe. Anyone that's been here knows how creative and artistic most of the local peoples are. Their statues and curios are literally so beautiful and everywhere. I love admiring the handiwork. Anyway, a few years ago I was visiting the ancient city ruins and stopped at a line of curio vendors by the roadside. The store stretched a few hundred meters. We started at the top of the line and made to walk down. As soon as we left the first stall, I began to feel super ill. Every single step I felt worse and worse. About halfway down the line, I literally keeled over puking. I could barely stand, so the people I was with took me back to the car and abandoned the mission. As soon as we drove out of sight, I was 100% better. There was definitely something there making me so sick. And I was the only one affected. It was only me who was affected. But this is still definitely an objectively real thing. It was a demonic curio hidden in there. I've been removing things from my house for years. Gifts from other countries, it's the very first thing. Foreign things! Foreign things made by foreign people! A newly married couple in our community hired a paranormal researcher. Where can I get that job? Which college provides training in becoming a paranormal researcher? Hello? To investigate strange activity at their house. Now they act possessed. Would appreciate prayers. This isn't real. This can't be real. These people can't be real. I was cleaning out my closet yesterday and my nana has had gifts she's given me. One was a rabbit's foot. I was talking to my wife and we decided that sadly we had to get rid of it just because we weren't sure about it. That is fucking sad. It's so sad that your fucking weird-ass religious beliefs literally made you sad because they made you get rid of a gift from your nana. Surely by now you would have had some sort of demonic interaction if there was a demon attached to it. Do you really think something your nana gave you had a spirit, an evil spirit attached to it and you had to throw it away even though it made you sad? I play D&D, watch horror movies and listen to heavy metal. I also read the Bible, go to church and pray with my family daily. I have never had any demonic issues. Things don't have value if you don't give them value. The proof is in the pudding, right? There's so many examples. hundreds and hundreds, probably, I don't know, an enormous amount of examples of people who are Christians, who live a good, happy, fulfilling life, have a good spiritual life and relationship with God, and have books that have certain imagery. Dungeons and Dragons, or listen to heavy metal, and they have no problems in their lives because those things aren't connected. If what Vlad was saying was true, there would be millions of demons all across the world, like, sitting on people's CD collections and things. It's absurd. Of course it's not true. I love God and I'm a 7th level paladin. Yes. 4th level gnome wizard. Yes. I'm so glad there are D&D nerds in the comments of this video. I literally heard the Holy Spirit to throw away a game that I thought was harmless. Snakes and Ladders. It's a mix, right, of people being like, I took up this hobby and it took over my life, and when I let it go and threw the stuff away, I felt better. Or I had a terrible relationship and when I got rid of the stuff from my past relationship, I felt better. That's just confirmation bias, right? It's like, of course you felt better getting rid of the thing that made you feel bad. Then you see Pastor Vlad's video and are like, oh my god, it's because demons. And then you believe it. And that becomes your reason. It's like self-fulfilling prophecy. It's completely ridiculous. And at the same time, buried deep within the comments are the few people that are like, I'm a Christian, I have a great life, I sleep well, I play Dungeons and Dragons. That's not a real thing. And the other people in the comments presumably are just ignoring that, or they don't believe it, or they're just so up their own arse that they think, well, that person is just wrong. It's the old, oh, you're not really happy. You think you're happy, but you're not really happy because you don't have a good relationship with Jesus. To believe this kind of thing is true, that having any of the things on this list are, invites demons into your homes and will make you unhappy, you cannot do that and acknowledge any of the real stories from real normal people that say, no, I do those things and I'm fine. I'm happy. I've got a good life. I sleep well. You have to ignore that, pretend they're wrong, convince yourself that they're wrong. It's fucked up. It's selfish. It's stupid. I do not like Vlad. I do not like him, his church, his channel. I am going to bookmark a video I can see of his in my recommended that says, well, that asks if Taylor Swift casts spells on her listeners, because I want to know the answer to that question. Yeah, sucks. Hate it. Stupid. Good news. I have things from... yeah, probably every single thing on that list. I don't know if I have anything from past relationships, actually. Or at least not romantic relationships. I have things from past other relationships, so maybe that counts. Maybe I'm 8 for 8, but I continue to live a joyful life. I'm healthy, happy. It's just craziness, man. It's just silly. I just can't. You can't rationalize it. You can't apply logic to this thinking. You can't do it. It's illogical, completely. Do like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you're not already. Support your local demon-infested creator. If you like this channel and you want to support it, you can become a channel member. You get comment priority, some silly little emotes, and a little ducky next to your name. It's very cute. Follow my gaming channel at Little Duck Gaming for gaming content, including demonic games, games with demonic imagery, horror games, games with violence. I've been running over people a lot in Jack 2, that's pretty violent. Similarly, I am live on Twitch a couple of times a week. Too hot to stream today, so not every day, but I'm live on Twitch a couple of times a week. Also, for demonic spooky games, man, I played the scariest fucking game last Saturday. That was definitely demonic, because good god. Maybe we try object removed? Follow Emma Thorne backstage for behind-the-scenes videos, vlogs, chats, opening my PO Box mail. I do all that over there. Remember, if you're interested in trying out Raid, there is a link down below. That helps me out a lot if you check it out. Check it out using my link or QR code. The best way to support this channel is via the Patreon. Check it out at patreon.com/EmmaThorneVideos. With that, I must give a big old shout out and a thank you to my giant chickens and colossal quackers over on Patreon. Especially Conla. God damn it, Conla. Most importantly, have yourselves a very lovely week, and I will see you really soon.